So could we proceed to the main page, please?
Yes.
Thank you. The Chromium Edge EOP XSS to RCE.
Yes.
This bug I found interesting, and I like its write-up. It's really good. And I noticed that you've been rewarded really good money for this one.
Yes.
Could you elaborate?
40,000 for this.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, it's quite good money. Could you tell us the story of this bug and how you started and what's happened? Because to me it looks like it took a while to accomplish 3 bugs in this one, right? Or 3 stages.
Yeah, I think I want to say in total it took probably, I'm including, you know, everything. So I would say like 2 weeks probably of like constant like working and testing and, you know.
Like did you hear about did you hear about it, that it's they want about this program, this bug exactly, and you started it, or did you just
what do you mean? Like
I mean like the Microsoft Edge Chromium, was it like available there? Was it like beta? Was it
yeah, it was oh, and this is a good thing I just remembered. Like when I found this bug, Chromium Edge wasn't officially released, so that's why it didn't get a CVE. So that's just going back to what we were talking about, the CVE. So like for this, it wasn't officially released. It was just, like you said, an alpha stage or beta stage. So people could download it, but only to test certain things. And they already launched a bug bounty, and I talk about all of this pretty much here. But to give you like the short version, I would say is that I was you know, in the browser security scene already.
So
and I found multiple bugs.
Okay.
Yeah, in the bug bounty scene, and already I've found a lot of bugs in the old Microsoft Edge. So when they announced a new one, I was like, okay, and let me know when the bounty comes out. And when the bounty came out, then instantly, you know, I started to look into it, and it was a really it was a hard target, because it's a new browser, so there's not a lot of features. It's based off of Chromium, but at the time, by the way, not now. Now it has much more features and much more attack.
Well, Chromium is an open source, right?
Yes, Chromium is open source. Google Chrome is based on Chromium, and now this browser is.
So you managed to read the source code of Chromium?
For what? Chromium? Yes. Every day I'm reading it. Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. This is one thing that we can talk about, you know, maybe more later. But yeah, reading the Chromium code base is part of what I was suggesting before, of knowledge, gaining knowledge. Read as much as you can, whether code, past bugs, write-ups, whatever. Anyway.
Okay.
So with this, I saw that it was double the bounty. So I was like, okay, I'll test it. And then all I did was, you know, create a page that had a HTML in the title. And then I found that it was reflected in the new tab page. And so effectively, I was XSSing the new tab page, right? Which is this one, by the way. This is the one here. All I did, I went to inspect. Remember, I talked about this. I used this a lot. And then all I did was I did this. And I'm like, oh, it's a website. That's different than other, you know, browsers. Okay, this is a website. So remember when I told you sometimes the browser security versus web security can sort of merge together? So this is one of the cases where it's merging. This is a browser, yes, and this is a new tab page which is higher privilege than normal websites. And I go into more details in the write-up. But all I did, I opened this, I looked at the web, I was like, oh, this is an online website. I wonder if it has extra privileges. And then all I did was say Chrome dot, and I found that it does have extra privileges. And so, and this, you can do this in any Chromium-based browser. You can look into like Google Chrome and go into a privilege, like their web store, for example, like their web extension store. Google Chrome's web extension store is considered a higher privileged website than a normal website because it has certain APIs it uses to install extensions, right? So certain things like this, and this is where I would say web security meets browser security, is when you have a website that is given higher privilege by the browser. So then essentially finding an XSS or any other bug inside that website gives you elevated privileges in the browser. And so this was the main really like point of these three bugs. Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes, I heard this and I read it, that browser security isn't as, well, I'm not saying this, but they say it's not as, juicy target or not as risky as the web apps, because the web apps, they have weak design, weak vulnerabilities, and once you exploit them, you are in. But for the browser security, I know I will talk about this when we go to the impact and the plugins section. But they say for the browser security, it's mostly local work, if you know what I mean. So you have to trick the user to do certain things. That's why I heard in some bounty platforms that they don't reward you unless the impact is like really serious. Otherwise, they don't consider some like XSS or whatever as valid bugs. I hope I'm right.
Yeah, you're correct. Like for Mozilla, for example, Firefox, they always pay for security high severity and security critical severity. But with moderate severity, they sometimes pay, they sometimes don't. For me, I got lucky. I never got not paid. That's why I liked them when I was bug hunting. And I still do bug hunting here and there, lightly with Mozilla, but not as much. And so, yeah, you're correct. Like they usually you get paid, like for low severity, you don't get paid for those. But it's nice to have. It's nice to like report it because you can still get a CVE. You can still, I don't know, learn something even if you report just a low
learning.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I interrupted you. Where were we?
And we're talking about this browser security and this write-up here.
Yeah, sure. So did you like? You said it took you 2 weeks to complete this one.
If I remember correctly, yeah, from beginning to end, it was probably 2 weeks, and this is not including writing it. I'm just talking about the bugs and reporting the bugs, and then sort of. So it's 3 distinct bugs. So first, I reported I believe the first 2. I reported them the same time as one bug, and then they split them into 2 bugs. And then after a week or so, I reported the second bug. And so I guess it's like the first 2 bugs, it took me 1 week, and then the second bug took me one week, I guess. It's probably.
Did the second one?
Sorry, yeah.
Did the second one came by like? Did you plan for it, or it came by chance?
Like I say in the write-up, I basically, like I said here, one thing stood out, right? So all I need, like from the first 2 bugs, the thing that I found interesting was that I essentially found an XSS in the ntp.msn.com domain. And so I was thinking, okay, so if I find an XSS in ntp.msn.com, I essentially hack the browser. And so that's what I did. I essentially let go of the browser and I just looked at ntp.msn.com as a web application target, as if I'm finding a bug in any web app, right? Okay. So I would use Burp Suite. And by the way, your previous interview with Mr. Fahad, he mentions a lot of good tools. So people can go listen to that one, but it's in Arabic, by the way. But yeah, burp suite or suit, I forgot how it says, how you say it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that program is very valuable. I pay for it because you get
Wow.
extensions within it.
Yeah, the
And
pro.
specifically here, yeah, like I used Param Miner. This is only, I believe only comes if you pay for a subscription for this program. And so I used that, and and I used a lot of other like reconnaissance tools. I don't remember which ones. I just looked for like the best one and I used it. And yeah, it took me a good week to find an XSS and write the report and all of that.
What made you think about this domain, the ntp.msn? Like
I said, because I found in the first bug, I found an XSS within it. So so I found an XSS in the first one, and then I came here and I looked at the location of it. So the address bar is blank, right?
Like
You can't see the address bar, and so you have to open the DevTools, and you can see the location is ntp.msn.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so I hacked. Essentially, I found a bug in this domain, which executed in this context, which is higher privilege, which I can access the browser. Basically, like to sum it up, yeah.
Okay, cool. So you decided to let's dig into this website. Let's see what's all about.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, cool. And then you submitted the second and the third based on this domain.
No, the first report was included the first and second bug, and then they split it into two different bugs because I was using two bugs essentially. I was using a XSS, and then I was using a memory corruption bug.
All right.
So they split it, yeah. And the third bug is just the XSS in the NTP domain.
Cool. Okay. And how was Microsoft and the correspondence? Like, are they like fast to respond? Were they fast or slow or what?
Yeah. For the new Chromium Edge.
Yep.
I believe I got a bounty, if I'm not mistaken, for the first one. I got a bounty within a week, I think, of reporting. So it was almost really quick. And they fixed it really, like I got responses really quick. And this is because the new Chromium Edge was ran by a team that I'm part of now, which is the browser vulnerability research team. And so we are much more involved in responses and handling of bugs. I don't know how the system was before, but from my experiences with the old way versus the new way, it was a breath of fresh air. So much, faster, because we have to respond within a certain time, right? So it was, I got.
So what difference do you see now between before, when you used to work by your own, as fast as you want, and now while you're working for Microsoft? What's changed?
When I found these bugs, I was still working at a company as a network security assistant engineer. So I was doing like a lot of network stuff, which I didn't really care about much. Though I did leave with a good, because network security was always just networking in general. Was always a gap in my knowledge. So being forced to learn about it was really good, I feel like, but it wasn't my passion. So I would still juggle between that and coming back home and looking at trying to find bugs in browsers. So now I kind of focus only on browsers, like that's my whole life, and I love it from that perspective. But at the same time, like you said, it's not always just vulnerability research. It's bigger than that, you know. There's like I said before, I hinted at fuzzing, for example. Before I started at Microsoft, I wasn't looking at memory corruption bugs or fuzzing, but you know, being exposed to the team that I'm part of, that are much smarter than I am, you know, as far as like browser security and all of this. You know, being part of such a good team with good knowledge forced me to learn so much in the past. I don't know, I've been part of Microsoft probably 9 months now. I've learned so much about browsers that it's like it would have taken me 3 years if I was left by myself and learning by myself. So it's a good place to be in.
Wow.
And I'm really, 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 I feel very lucky to be, you know, part of such an opportunity.
Yeah, I'm really happy for you.
Thank you. I hope I make everybody proud. Huh?
Yep. I'm not sure about the other security professionals in Kuwait, but I don't know any Kuwaiti. I mean, myself, as far as I know, any Kuwaiti who works at Microsoft, especially in the security. I don't know. I mean, maybe you can correct.
I don't think there is anybody. Otherwise, I would know about it.
Yeah.
We would be friends.
Are there like security researchers from the Arab world in Microsoft? Have you met?
There definitely is, 100%. I just don't know their names off the top of my head. I probably know their like Twitter handle more, but yeah, there's a lot of good people from all over the place. Like,
No.
I don't think there is any country in the Middle East that doesn't have a really good security researchers even.
Of course. Yeah.
I know that Egypt has a few.
Yeah.
Like a few people from Egypt. I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think from Lebanon, I want to say there is some, but I don't really, you know, keep track of this type of stuff, you know.
Okay.
But I'm sure there is my, you know, short
Okay.
answer.
Let's take a break about the browser security and jump to something really different and fun.
Yes.
I saw you before in a CTF. Am I
Yeah.
correct? And you had a team with you. It was in the one of the oil company in Kuwait competition.
Yes.
And congratulations, because you won that competition, I remember. And
Well, the team won first prize. Yeah.
oh, the team, yes. And then I heard that you flew to Egypt, right?
No. I didn't.
Okay. So your team flew there, or?
What happened was that my team was made up of 4 members.
Okay.
And because I believe the first, second, and third place teams went to Egypt or are allowed to go to Egypt. And for me, I did not want to travel to Egypt. I just wasn't able to. And also another team member wasn't able to. And so, so what happened was that the first team, our team, 2 of the members joined with the second team, which had also 2 members.
Oh, okay.
And so they formed one team together, and they went to Egypt.
To Egypt. Okay.
But yeah, I wish I could have been there, but yeah,
I thought you went there. Okay. So do you play practice CTFs often, or
not a lot? Not a lot. No. This was an exception because it was in Kuwait, and I've never heard of a CTF, and it was like, you know, a big thing, you know, like the KOC doing a CTF.
Yeah.
And it was the first one, I believe. And so I felt that it was my, you know, I have to go. Like, I can't not go. I would regret it for the rest of my life. Right. So I went there, and I'm so glad that I did. I met so many people.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And I felt so good about the Kuwait security, you know, scene, you know.
When I saw you there, I thought you had an established CTF team, because I saw you working in harmony with them, and you were like understanding each other. So I thought, wow, Abdulrahman seems, like pro on CTF. I thought like this. So
Oh, no, 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 no. We found basically each other in Reddit. You know Reddit?
yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah, there is Reddit. There's a subreddit called r/Kuwait.
Really?
And one of them, I forgot which one, actually put during the CTF time, he was like, anybody here knows security, blah, blah, blah. We're looking for a team.
Right.
And so I go to Reddit a lot, like especially r/Kuwait. I like to read it. And yeah, I found it and I was like, oh, what a coincidence. I don't have a team. And I just read about CTF and KOC. So we talked on Discord and we added each other on WhatsApp. And yeah, we met a couple of times, I think, before the CTF. And yeah, we worked really great. And I loved how we worked together. It was amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, it was really good times.
Cool. So back to browser security again. Can we go to Portswigger website, please?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's .com. Okay, it's .net.
No, sorry, I meant the article that you put in your blog, in your website, that the article where they interview you.
Did I put it there? I don't remember.
No, actually, sorry. I googled it, and I found it. When I googled your name, I found your name in Portswigger. No, maybe in Google.
I cannot find it. Can you send me the link?
Okay. Let me see. Maybe try Google.
Oh yeah, you can probably cut this out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep, I think this one. Yep. So the Portswigger, they've interviewed you, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe they just sent you an email. I'm not sure about what's happened here. So could you tell us about how you got in touch with them?
I think one of them just DM'd me because I have on Twitter, I have my DMs open.
All right.
So I think they just DM'd me. I don't remember if like they said they were from Daily Swig or whatever, but yeah, I answer anybody who comes talks to me on DMs.
All right.
So it's like it's fine.
So also, I think you told me that they've considered one of your vulnerabilities, I think, as the top 10. Am I accurate?
Yeah, I think it was like web hacking techniques of I think 2019. I think it was 2019 though, not 20.
All right.
Let me see. Is it here?
So what technique was it?
Let me just make sure. Oh, there you go. It was ninth place of 2019.
Oh,
and you can read it here.
All right. So
the technique.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the technique was, like I mentioned before, the combination between browser security and web application security, and how these two actually started to merge, especially recently. And so I think you will find that these types of bugs are gonna be reoccurring. It's in no way a new thing. It's just like it happened before, I'm sure, as does everything. But I would say it's a pattern that you should be able to see more often in the future and even now. So with embedded browsers, for example, I talked to you about this offline, but I like the Steam client that I think a lot of people know for the games and whatever. It actually is an embedded browser. It uses Chromium.
Yep.
Or an embedded version of Chrome to load the user interface. And it actually has its own flavor. It has its own APIs in there. And so these types of bugs, you can find them in a lot of places. You'd be surprised what some things are actually powered by a browser. And so really, it even says here that, yeah, beautifully demonstrates how web vulnerabilities can bleed into the desktop, right?
Mhm.
So this is basically what it really highlighted, is that by hacking a website, you can actually hack the browser, right? So this is the new thing, I would say, that it brought up. And I'm so glad that people voted for me, and this is a huge honor for me, honestly.
Wow,
And I'm really glad to be among those mentioned.
impressive. Okay, okay, okie dokie. Okay. So one might think, okay, this is impressive work. I'm new to web security or bug security, and I'm impressed what you've done. I've learned a lot from you, but do you find, or did you find when you started, that how could I find a bug in a really big, like big company software, like, you know, Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge or Mozilla Firefox? Did you feel intimidated, or you didn't? Or, and how would you advise somebody to approach, you know, an established software, like, or established browser in your case?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very good question and point that I really want to.
Okay.
I feel like it's for me personally. Maybe this is not somebody that everybody's gonna relate with, but for me personally, I went to this to my About Me page again, because I wanted to show that I actually, my very first bounty that I ever got ever was from Microsoft for an XSS in the Outlook Office 365. And I got, I think, like $2,000, and it was the happiest day of my life in a way, because I'll tell you why. Not because I got $2,000, you know. I was, you know, it was mainly because I made money by myself with my own hands,
Yeah.
and I, like, with my own, you know, brain, my own, just a laptop at the time, a very bad laptop, by the way. And all I did was just sit down, look, and I found something, and then I reported it, and I got $2,000. It just made me, I don't know, it was just such a, I felt very accomplished, you know. But here's the thing, it took me maybe 3 months or more of trying before I even found anything. So
Wow.
I had to actually try and learn and read for 3 months before I really, you know, again, I hate to use this word, but I got lucky, you know, and I found something. But it took time. It took time. And the biggest, like, why did I take 3 months? The biggest problem for me was that at the time I would look at, you know, I guess this could be a low self-esteem type of deal, but
I see.
I would look at Microsoft and big company. I'm like, who am I that I will find a bug in this? Like, come on, there's like engineers behind this. There's like people who graduated, have like, really, they're Microsoft
Yep.
employees, you know.
They have
Who am
resources.
I? Yeah, who am I to find, like, who is, like, I'm a nobody. And so I foolishly tried to find. I was stupid enough to try. But then I realized, oh, okay, so it's actually not that complicated, first of all, to find a bug. And by the way, one thing that I give credit to is the community on Twitter. People who share that they were able to find a bug, and share how.
Mhm.
Because I remember reading about an XSS somewhere, and I was like, oh, I understand this. This isn't, you know, this isn't rocket science. I can do this. And so, that helped me to gain confidence in myself and to be like, no, I can find a bug in Microsoft. Who cares? Yeah, I can do it as well. If that guy can, I can. And so this is one of the big reasons why I share my bugs and I write about them. Because not only does it help me personally with writing skills, and you can see, like, if you go to my older bugs that I write about, you can see I don't really write that good or that well.
Mhm.
And as time progresses, you will see the progress going. And so I want to share to people and show them, hey, look, I'll admit this here. I don't have, I don't have a bachelor's. I tried to get a bachelor's. I failed. Uh,
Wow.
I like to say that I failed because I got addicted to, bug bounties, but that's maybe just a good story for me to tell myself. But I don't have, I have like a diploma, 2-year diploma from a school here in Kuwait. It's a community college, I believe.
Yep.
That only and it took me, I repeated the, schooling 2 years. So I graduated 2 years late,
Mhm.
high school, like in government school, by the way, my whole life. And so uh, I think if I like analyze it, is that I made a false assumption about myself, that just because I don't have a degree, that doesn't mean that I cannot contribute anything, right? Doesn't mean I cannot find bugs. Doesn't mean I cannot, go head to head with other hackers out there that maybe have more education. Not to say that education is bad. That's opposite what I'm saying. I'm saying if you don't have education for whatever reason, does not mean anything. It just doesn't. You don't make any assumptions beyond that. If you don't have a degree, you don't have a degree. That's it.
Wow.
So yeah. Oh,
Yep.
I thought you were telling me to shush.
I don't know. I don't know.
But yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, my advice is don't overestimate everything. Don't do that.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. Just
What
go
about
and try it. Just
what about
just do it.
security courses? Do you think they are important, or do you have any?
I've never taken courses. No.
Hmm.
Everything you need is available online, but here's one thing I'd say.
Hmm.
Um, and when it comes to security researcher, right?
Mhm.
Research means that you have to find something new, and you will not learn it from a course.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? So like, yeah, go get a make go to a course that somebody told you that's really good.
Mhm.
Buy books, whatever, that's fine, because they will summarize the information for you, right? Instead of you having to go Google and look, and
Mhm.
they will shorten it, باختصار, like we say, right?
Yep.
So yeah, you can go, but for me personally, I just never bothered with it. I just learned from how I said. I would look at old bugs, I would look at the documentation, specification, and then I would mess around with it by myself. Yeah.
This is the approach, or this is why you what you advise the who want to start research, that to find what you the target that you want to work on, and then read the manuals and other people's write-ups, and then experiment, and maybe you'll get results. That's
Yes.
is this
Yeah.
what you think?
Yeah. Yeah. In order for you to come up with good ideas, I guess, you have to load your brain with as much knowledge as you can. Because then you can be creative.
Yep. But the problem is there is too much knowledge, and there's the theory knowledge, there is the courses knowledge, there is the uh, the structured path of knowledge that they put. I mean, some people or some courses they put this. So, but what I understood from you, that the knowledge that you're saying is the practical one. That's what works on, or do you mean theoretical as well?
I'm not sure what
Yeah.
you mean by like practical. You mean like, yeah, like
Yeah,
And by practical, meaning,
the right
oh,
time.
like just actually doing it, right?
Yep,
Like
yep,
practicing it, doing it, right?
yep.
Here's the thing. I just because I don't want to make the assumption that the way I did it is the best, because
Mhm,
I don't know. Maybe it's like I keep improving, right? I keep
mhm.
there's always room for improvement. So
Of course.
so long as you find a way that works for you and how you think and how you operate and what makes you happy. Because for me, when I sit down and I do practical browser vulnerability research,
Yep.
I feel, and I maybe I put some, music or something very calming. I listen to a podcast maybe, or I listen to one of your interviews, right?
Ah, thank
Uh,
you.
I get a sense of very calmness, right? I'm very calm. I'm reading about like a new API, and then I'm messing around with it. It's a very how should I say, calming experience, Um, so I find benefit from it that way, right? There's benefit from it that way.
Okay.
So I just go, I would just I would suggest try different things and stick to what you feel works for you the best.
Because to
Yeah,
me, the path that you took and took you to Microsoft, I think, is like by
yeah,
doing and finding vulnerabilities, and by finding enough vulnerabilities and proving that you have knowledge about this and skills, then you
yeah,
manage to get hired by Microsoft, while others maybe they want to get certificates. So because some employers they want certificates, or they want whatever experience, or I think there are many paths, like you said.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, and one thing I like to remind myself is that not everybody who is in security takes it as more than just a job, right? Because it is for a lot of people just a job, right? Like you can have an accountant who is very passionate about what they're doing, or they can just keep it as a job. They're just doing it to, you know, finish a job and that's it. They just want to get a salary and that's it. So there are people, and this is not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but if you don't feel like, you care about this to this extent, then you don't have to. It's fine. You can just get a certificate and get the minimum requirement by your company in order to stay, compliant or whatever, and that's it. That's fine. There's no shame in that. But yeah, if you want to go deeper, you want to whatever, then yeah. And also, by the way, you mentioned something like getting the job. I didn't know I was going to go get a job at Microsoft by doing this. This wasn't my goal.
Mhm.
But it just so happens that I learned a specific skill and a very specific thing,
Mhm.
which was, like I told you, browsers and design issues,
Yep.
that it's rare, that nobody is, there's no course that teaches you design issues in browsers.
Yep.
So I just got, again, lucky that I just happened to get very focused into this specific thing that just so happens at the time Microsoft needed somebody with my skills.
So
So
they they
it's,
they they, they they posted a position and you applied, or did you reach for them?
I was approached actually, and
You applied, all right.
yeah, and I had the same struggle, I thought, and I told you about this. This is like an imposter syndrome. I recently learned that this is very common
Mhm.
in software engineers.
Yeah, imposter.
That like 40%, I think, suffer from this,
Oh,
where you
I
feel
think
like you
more.
don't
I
deserve
think
the
more.
job that you're in.
I think more.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I think 40% is what I read last time, but yeah, probably more.
Mm.
Which I didn't understand right at the beginning, and also like burnout. I experienced this,
All right.
and so when I got the job, I was so freaked out. I don't know what I was like. Well, I don't know what I'm doing, right? Like, why did I get this job? Like I was just panicking at the beginning,
You
and then
thought you thought whether you're ready
COVID
or
hit.
not.
Excuse me.
If you thought whether you were ready or not for this position.
Yes, I didn't. Yeah, it's a big responsibility, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, what? I'm gonna actually have, and but it was like, because I actually have, like, when you see this browser here, I actually have a say in the security of this browser, not the final say or anything, but I have a contribution into how secure this browser is, which goes to millions of people. And so I'm like, I'm not that, like, I can't do that. Like, I'm not that good, like, and then, yeah, that can grow. But the benefit of being part of a team is that they can kind of ground you sometimes, right? They can, like, kind of, be there for you, and I can be there for them and all of this, and just, like, get you back to reality that it's fine. No, you do have knowledge, you do have, something to contribute. I cannot go, but this is a bad habit I have, unfortunately. But yeah.
All right. So let's talk about the impact of browser security. For example,